Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment as the Tennessee Titans select running back Tyjae Spears with the 81st overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. In fact, let me go ahead and update my ticker. That's one thing I forgot to do. Select running back Tyjae Spears from Tulane with 81st overall pick in the third round. Now, people, you're going to notice in the title, I say, it's over. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, the season's been over. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this was always, well, I don't know about always, but they made it pretty clear early on in this offseason this was going to be, I mean, when they fired John Robinson last year, that this is a process to rebuild this roster. When we started releasing guys to rebuild this roster, and we just took Tyjae Spears in the third round. This is going to be the running back, most likely, unless if he comes in here and gets injured, and he does have a torn ACL in his history, unfortunately, his sophomore year, that he came back from. And I think he might have had some injuries in high school, though, but I have to confirm that. But this is who they're planning to move on to, which is fine. But when you desperately need a wide receiver, already the worst wide receiver group in the league, and you sit there and you have a top 3 running back in the league, and you take another running back, we're not drafting for this year. This is a pick for next year. Will Levis was a pick for next year, mostly. Unless if they get rid of Tannehill, which they still might do, but I think, again, that's only going to happen if an injury befalls another team. I don't think anyone's trading for Tannehill right now. I think that's absurd for any team to do it right now. So we're going to get such little contribution from this rookie class. Scruggs is going to start. Will Levis won't. Again, unless if we get rid of Tannehill, we'll see. And Tyjae won't, unless if we trade Henry tomorrow. And I would have assumed that we would have traded him today, because I can't believe if they trade Derrick Henry for a 4th tomorrow, a 4th in anything, a 4th and a 3rd next year, or 4th in DeAndre Hopkins, or whatever it is. I'm going to be so disappointed and ashamed of this football team. The thing is, I actually like Tyjae Spears, so I'm going to get into him a little bit more in a second. But wow, we're going to get no production from we're going to get half from Levis, like half the year maybe, we'll see. But nothing, and then a little bit from Tyjae Spears. We need contributions. And after such a medium to medium rare free agency period, to have another medium to medium rare draft, at least for rookies, guys, we're going to regress. It's been on the table. Now it's definitive. I think we're looking at a 4, 5, 6 win team next year. I don't think it's going to be 3. But we're looking at a 4, 5, 6 win season. Okay. But you just tied yourself to Will Levis to an extent. So the point was, if we were going to do this, I'm fine. I'm fine doing this because I like Tyjae Spears. I think he could end up being the future starting running back for this team. Now, I don't know if he's going to be a bell cow necessarily. I don't know if he's going to be a Pro Bowler. I'm not convinced of that. I think he will be a starting running back. I think you're gonna have to compliment him with someone else really to make it dynamic. I'm not gonna go that far, but I like him. But I just don't understand if we're gonna be this 4-6 win team, which maybe they're delusional. I mean, maybe they actually think we're gonna be better than that. I don't know. Maybe they're taking crazy pills. Then let's just embrace that and position ourselves to take a quarterback next year. Draft your wide receiver at 41. I don't care. Whoever you want, draft him. Or if you wanted to move up a little bit and secure Mingo, because Mingo went 39, I don't care. Or trade back in the second round. That way you could take Tillman or Hyatt whenever you wanted to take Tillman or Hyatt. They ended up going third. That's crazy. Right before our pick. Isn't that crazy? And how frustrating was it whenever you were looking at this pick and you saw all these wide receivers go. You saw Hyatt and Tillman go back to back. You saw Nathaniel Tank Dell go to the Texans. You saw Josh Downs, 2 picks before our pick, go to the Colts. I don't know if we would have took any of them, by the way. I don't know what we're doing. I mean, look, the Skarovski thing makes sense. The CJ Stroud thing makes sense. This makes sense because, we're planning on 2024. Rand Carthon is building a new team. He doesn't give a damn about Derrick Henry. He doesn't give a damn about Hassan Haskins. Tyjae Spears is his guy. He doesn't give a damn about Ryan Tannehill. He doesn't give a damn about Malik Willis. Will Levis is his guy. He doesn't give a damn about Nate Davis. He doesn't give a damn about Ben Jones. Peter Skoronski is his guy. He doesn't give a damn about David Long. He doesn't give a damn about Bud Dupree. He doesn't give a damn about DeMarcus Walker. He wants Arden Key. He wants Azeez Al-Shahir. And he wants Andre Dillard. That's what he wants. That's what he is deciding. This is a bad offseason now, in my opinion. And it's not the worst, but it's an offseason that is going to cause this team to regress. We're regressing. We're not winning 7 games next year. We're not. And I'm on the record now today. Let's go. Come at me. The minute Treylon Burks, and God forbid, gets hurt, it's over. Well, it's already over. But we're running Nick Westbrook-Ikhine again as a potential number 1 wide receiver. How could you do this? How could you ever? What? I mean, it's so crazy. So, we're going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. next year. So we can look forward to that. I look forward to scouting the other wide receivers. We'll see how the tight end situation continues to work out. I think we're going to take a tight end, but who the hell knows? Who are we going to? We might take a safety next. We might take Kevin Byard's replacement next. Everything is on the board and on the table now. What an off season. Andre Dillard, Azeez Al-Shahir, Arden Key, Peter Skoronski. Great. Will Levis and Tyjae Spears. Wow. I mean, this is just the work of a great new general manager. And look, years from now, 3, I'm gonna look back and then, hey, Tyjae Spears is gonna be a Pro Bowl running back. Will Levis will have improved finally, maybe. And then heading into his 3rd year, he might finally be a average starting quarterback in this league. Maybe heading into his 3rd year. I'm talking 3 years from now. Heading into his 4th year, his contract year, when he's trying to prove himself, because the last 2 years he hasn't proven much. Maybe Andre Dillard will still be a left tackle of this team. Maybe, I don't know. Arden Key won't be here. Azeez Al-Shahir, we'll see. Who else did we sign? Who's not going to be here? Jack Gibbons won't be here. Sean Murphy-Bunting won't be here. So we've signed no one who's going to be here. And now we're getting players that are going to be here, but are going to need to transition into their roles in Tyjae Spears and Will Levis. So not only, and I see some people in the, Tyjae Spears, he had an ACL in his sophomore year. I don't know if he has arthritis. I didn't hear anything about arthritis. If he has arthritis, then oh my God, that's a whole nother story. And all this would be fine if we didn't take Levis. But why take this? Unless if you're just, if we would have done these things and not taken Levis, and at 41, taken, I don't care. I honestly, I literally don't care. I would just say, hey, at least next year, we're going to get our guy. It didn't work out. We tried for Stroud, GG. We tried. We got some plug-in, whatever players in free agency, plug-in play. We'll see what they can do. Cheap contracts, whatever. At least we got Skoronski, who we know is going to start, and then who cares? That's what I'd say. But we got Will Levis. So, start him. Because I want him to flame out. So, start him. Because this is the beginning of a rebuild. I mean, this is now a 3-4 year rebuild. And I didn't think it had to be that. If you would have, I was fine with the cheap free agency. But we're going to have, here's the problem. Whenever Levis plays, who's he going to throw to? If the argument is that Will Levis struggled at Kentucky because he didn't have anyone to throw to, our wide receiver core right now is not much better than Kentucky. It's just Traylon Burks. He's way better than him in Kentucky. But everyone else? I don't know, Haas. I don't know Kentucky's wide receiver core that well. But I'm telling you, I don't know if it's a vast difference between NWI and Kyle Phillips. Oh, and wait a minute, that's literally it. I mean, the list literally stops there. Racy McMath and Mason Kinsey. Give me a break. I mean, so it's so unbelievable. It's shockingly bad. I really want to know what the hell is going on. I really want to know. And then okay, so Tyjae Spears, you should have took Tyler Scott or Michael Wilson, period. Because while Tyjae Spears, again, he might end up being a starting running back in this league, he has knee issues. So even that's a concern. And I think he's a decent compliment to Derrick Henry. We're not going to win games this season, though, so who the hell cares? Tyler Scott and Michael Wilson, I liked. And they were there. And I don't know what they would have contributed in their rookie year. Could have been 500 yards. Who the hell is going to get receiving yards on this team, guys? I don't know. Luckily, this is the NFL. So, I mean, assuming your passing offense isn't literally the worst in the last decade, which it could be, you're still probably going to throw for at least 2,800 yards. So, I mean, that's 1,000 for Burks. Go ahead and draft Traylon Burks and Chigo Okonkwo, because God knows there's no one else that we can throw the ball. And even they are sophomores. I mean, I like Chig. I like Burks. They're sophomores who didn't even break 500 yards. So we're throwing to sophomores and Nick Westbrook and Kina. It's madness. It's madness. Kyle Phillips is a rookie. He didn't play his rookie year. Racy McMath is still a rookie. He hasn't played two. This wide receiver core, and look, we've had some bad wide receiver cores in Nashville, Tennessee. This is the worst wide receiver core we've ever had. When we had Justin Gage as our number one wide receiver, I had more confidence. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. Well, let me think. Gage in 2009. It's pretty bad. That one was pretty bad. And by 2010 we had Nate in 2010, right? No, we didn't have Nate in 2010. But we still had Gage in 2010. That one was bad. Let's look up that wide receiver core, remind myself how bad that wide receiver core actually was. But at least we had, as Shaq would say, Lavelle Hawkins and Damian Williams, and they weren't that good, but they would come in and they would know their role. I liked Damian Williams as number 3, and I liked Lavelle Hawkins as a number 4. I don't like anyone outside of Burke at their position. I don't like Nick Westbrook-Ikhine as a number 2. I don't like Kyle Phillips as a number 3. I don't like anyone else on the team. Now, why are they on the team? So, it's ridiculous. It's shockingly bad. But yeah, also 2009, we had Brett. And he was a rookie, so it didn't matter. Then we had Brett, we had Nate Washington, we had Justin Gage. Better. Honestly, it's better. I mean, what did we talk about? It's obviously better. It's not even close. It's obviously better. So, I just can't even believe this. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I mean, we're not even, we had Jared Cook as tight end and Bo Scaife. This is a disaster. So, I just can't even believe, 2015 was bad with Dorial Green-Beckham, with Antonio Andrews. I mean, we're challenging that, guys. I mean, that's literally where we're at right now as a franchise. At least we had Delaney and then some other guys as well. But that's where we're at, guys. I mean, we are really challenging that in terms of the worst wide receiver core this franchise has ever seen. While, yes, we've upgraded the offensive line, barely, okay? I mean, Daniel Brunskill, he's going to come in and try to do his thing. We still don't know if he's really a legitimately starting, running back in this league. This is bad. I mean, this is really bad. I mean, we don't have first-round talents. We've drafted first or second-round talents like Justin Hunter and Dorial Green-Beckham and Kendall Wright, who, they stunk eventually, but at least, they were first and second-round talents. We don't even have that. We're going to draft a guy. Maybe we trade up and get a guy in the 4th or in the 5th, whatever. Who the hell cares? We drafted Kyle Phillips in the 5th. We drafted Des Fitzpatrick in the 4th. We drafted Tajay Sharp in the 5th. We drafted Racey McMath in the 6th. We drafted so many players on day 3. And yes, that was under John Robinson. And maybe Rand Garthon has a touch of minus and he's going to be better at picking these sort of players. We've drafted in the day 3 wide receivers. It's never worked out. It's been terrible. It's been awful. They never do anything. I hate coming on here and having to do draft breakdowns and tape breakdowns and listen to people on Twitter talking about our 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th and undrafted wide receivers who never do anything, who will never do anything significant whatsoever because you're trying to find something to get excited for. This wide receiver core stinks. It's the worst I've ever seen on this team, and it's a disaster. And as a result, this offense is going to be a disaster. And at the very least, and I know the tight end, why'd you take Levis? Because this is so stupid. This is why it's also stupid. Because you're in a position to where we don't even have the number 2 tight end right now that can come in and block consistently. Trevon Wesco is a number 3 tight end. He's not even a number 2. So we still don't have a number 2 tight end. We still don't have a number 2 wide receiver or a number 3. We still don't have a center that we believe in. And so here's what's going to, and Derrick Henry, while I love him, he's going to be here older. So here's what's about to happen. You know how Derrick Henry was still winning us games last year? The offensive line is going to be a little better than it was last year. He's going to be a little bit older. I think the run game is going to regress. Also because there's literally no threat that we're going to pass the football whatsoever. At least we had Austin Hooper, who got 400 yards last year. Now we don't even have that at the tight end position. Again, we'll see we get in the 5th or the 6th or the 7th. But that's why at the very least, if you were going to do this stupid crap, if you were going to trade it for anyone in the 2nd round, trade it for Michael Mayer. Because then at the very least, Tannehill can throw to Michael Mayer and Chico Conquo, and Henry can run behind Michael Mayer a little bit, and it helps your run game, and it helps your pass game. No, you took Levis. who's going to play worse than Tannehill whenever he plays. So we got worse at the quarterback position. We got worse at we got worse in terms of blocking. Well, maybe not in terms of blocking, but I mean, the run game will be worse. The pass game will be worse, which is shocking to say. I mean, with a little more protection, maybe you could say it's going to be a little better with these wide receivers. I doubt it. You lost Austin Hooper. I think it's going to be worse. I think it's going to be worse. And I mean, you lost, and Robert Woods stunk. But still, at least he did something. You need to replace his production with somebody. And as we sat and we watched, all of these free agent wide receivers get picked up. And a lot of them, the top ones, got overpaid. And I agree. But you should have signed somebody. You should have signed a McCole Hardman. You should have signed a Richie James. You should have signed just one of these guys that, hey, can come in here and get 300 yards. Okay, we got Chris Moore. I forgot about Chris Moore. That's how irrelevant he is. Oh, by the way, he's going to come in here and get 600-700 yards. I actually forgot about him. Because whatever rookie be drafted at this point, he's going to play more than him. That rookie will not play. So forget about it. This 5th, 6th, 7th round rookie that we're about to draft, unless if he's Aladdin, the diamond in the rough, and Rank Carthon is some sort of wizard or genie, he's not going to play. So just like they never play. So Chris Moore is going to eat. So go ahead and pick up Chris Moore in your 20-man fantasy football league because he's actually going to do decently well. And Nick Westbrook, someone has to catch the ball. I mean, we're going to get at least 2,800 passing yards, right? I mean, we have to get at least 2,800 passing yards, right? 2,800. We should be talking about 3,800. We should be talking about 4,000. This team stinks, and I'm ranting, and I'm going off because I like to be positive, but this stinks. I mean, after taking Levis, which I was fine with, we needed someone that can contribute tomorrow. Whenever he comes in, he is going to give a burst to this offense. I never even talked about Tyjae Spears. Let's talk about it. Tyjae Spears. This guy has true burst. This guy has true energy. He just burst through the line of scrimmage, has nice power, 5'10", about 200 pounds. Didn't run that well, ran about a 4.54 at his pro day. But whenever you turn on the tip of Tulane, he's pretty fluid. His athleticism, you can see it off the charts, had about a 39-inch vertical jump and had a decent broad jump as well. Didn't run the pro day, though, because he's not a speedster. And is a decent pass catcher. His route tree is nothing crazy. Like, he's not going to come in here and be like, Christian McCaffrey or anything like that. But he shows he's able to catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's going to add a nice dimension to this offense. So I think that's great. And I'm going to get to Super Chats in a second. I'm not ignoring those. But the problem is, whenever he's in, I mean, he's going to add something to the offense whenever Derrick Henry is out. I just don't think it's going to matter much, especially as he's a rookie. So you're just not adding much to the offense. He's just not going to be out there enough. Whereas whatever wide receiver you drafted here, although even a 3rd round wide receiver here may not have played that much, still I would have at least had a shot, to make a real contribution. So I mean, we eliminated the pick of Malik Willis last year, which, we expected and I'm fine with. But Hassan Haskins is also eliminated. So we took Hassan Haskins in the 4th round last year for nothing. So that's great. So that's another wasted draft pick. Go ahead and, scratch that one off your bingo board. So that stinks. And this team stinks. I mean, that's my stance now moving forward. Look, I'm still going to watch and I'm still going to support. And I hope, do I even hope that they're better than I want them to be next year? Like, if we were, no, I don't care. Because I really don't. Because as I look around the league, first of all, I don't think it's possible. Even Vrabel coaching up, whatever, I think it's over, guys. I think it's done. I think it's a wrap. I think we've added basically nothing, or at least not nearly enough this offseason. And I think it's a mess. I think it's a fine mess. Like, I'm not saying like, okay, we're gonna be bad forever. We're heading in, but this is essentially a rebuild. It really is. The only reason it's not is because Henry and Tannehill are still on the team. That's the only if they were on the team, everyone would agree, yes, this is a rebuild. That's the only reason we're not saying it's a rebuild. But considering the fact that at some point Tannehill will be benched for Levis because we're not going to be very good, it's a rebuild. And then assuming at one point Derrick Henry is going to voice frustrations because he's not getting the runs that he wants to get, and maybe because Tyjae Spears is getting some carries, and maybe we trade him mid-season because someone thinks they can make a playoff push for him, it'll be very clear that it is a rebuild. But I'm already saying it now that it is indeed a rebuild because it screams rebuild. When you're drafting a running back because your running back expires next year, you are rebuilding. And you draft a quarterback because you draft not only running back, but also a quarterback because your quarterback is expiring next year. You are rebuilding. So that's what we're doing. So it's rebuild, fine. I just wish that we didn't take the quarterback now. That's just my main point. I just wish, fine, rebuild. Don't take the quarterback now. You should have waited. I don't know why you didn't wait. Okay, so I missed one super chat. I still see it in my... Oh, actually, let me do this. If I go to live chat, I should still be able to see it. Apparently not. Okay, I'll go back to the super chat I missed earlier. I saw it from CLN Titans. CLN Titan, if you want to... Don't send the super chat again, but if you want to just type it in the chat at me at Sportsman Entertainment, I'll read it again. Because it only lets me go back so far. Fire in the Sky says, I went on an acid trip years back that was less bizarre than this draft. I've never done acid, and I'm not saying that just to be politically correct, but I believe you. And not that women haven't offered, but I'm just mad that I just hear acid and I hear trip. I'm just like, man, there are certain things that I better stay away from, but I believe you. And no, it does make sense. We're rebuilding, though. I think that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. By the way, I see it now. I'm not able to put it on the screen, but I see it now. So CLN Titan, he said, where the F is our wide receiver help? The wide receiver depth is crap. I don't know. That's what we're all wondering. I don't know, CLN Titans. I really, really, really don't know. Thank you guys for the super chats there. I'll go back and read some of the comments again. At me in the chat at Sportsfan Entertainment. If you want your comment read, super chats always get precedence. SCP says trading AJ Brown was the worst decision in franchise history. Is that true? I would say it's up there. The worst decision in franchise history. It's certainly up there. Maybe the worst was in 2011. It would have been hard. Yeah, no, we wouldn't have been able to tank that bad. I was going to say maybe in 2012 we should have sucked for luck, or 2011, but I don't know if we could have been that bad. Worst decisions in franchise history. I mean, running it again in 2005 was pretty stupid, but it was fine. I mean, we thought we had one more year in us, and the 2005 draft wasn't that great anyway. We would have ended up drafting like Alex Smith or something. Yeah, I mean, it's up there. I mean, it really is. It changed the whole direction of this franchise. It's so crazy, and we learned nothing. I mean, if Vrabel was so triggered by that, then why is he not replacing the wide receiver that he's so mad that we gave up? Why is that not a priority? What type of collaboration is going on here? And why is Mike Vrabel gonna survive this? Like, I'm fine 1 year, 4 to 6 wins. The next year, I don't know who we're gonna sign because we're gonna sign a lot of players. I don't know if we're gonna be much better. So, because I don't know what this team's gonna look like. I think we're headed for at least a 2-year rebuild. I think we're rebuilding, like, damn near every positional group is just being rebuilt. Damn near everyone. So why does Mike Vrabel deserve to lead us through a rebuild? Is he Pete Carroll? Is he Bill Belichick? Is he Andy Reid? What is even Andy Reid got fired in Philadelphia? Even Doug Peterson got fired. Reid took them to Super Bowl. and took them to a NFC championship. Doug Peterson won them a Super Bowl. He got fired after one bad year. Why does he have such a long leash? Huh? Someone answer me that, because I really want to know. Because they're collaborating. That's what I've been told, that they're collaborating. So he thinks he's going to make it through this rebuild. He believes that he's going to coach Levis and coach Tyjae Spears in 2024 after we win 4 to 6 games. Why? I want to know why. Very interesting. Okay. TGI Jeff says we're getting D-Hop, no worries. Oh my God. It's possible we have to cut Tannehill as a post-June 1 and then trade for D-Hop. It'd be so stupid. Why are you cutting Tannehill to just get D-Hop? It would be so stupid. All right, Bobon, I'm going to pronounce that Chuck, says, sorry if I mispronounced that. He's throwing to the water boy, equipment guy, and the grass seeder dude. I mean, 100%, man. I just can't believe this. This is crazy. Gino Lopez says, at Sports for Entertainment, this is laughably bad. I spit out my drink when you said Aladdin. I mean, we have to find Aladdin. The diamond in the rough. I mean, we got to find him. Go find your street rats and search through them. Because who's going to catch footballs for us next year? It's so crazy. And you know someone's going to get injured. You think your wide receiver core is going to be healthy throughout the entire season? You think it's so crazy. And you know what I would have been fine with at 30, in the third round too? Because, I don't know about what's going on with the Darnell Washington situation. Has he been taken yet? He finally went to Pittsburgh at 93. I don't know what's going on with that. I want to read more about the medical whenever more information comes on that. Everyone's going to say, oh, we should have took Darnell. We need to know the medical. I want to know, I would have been fine, actually, taking, another position like a Trenton Simpson, the wide inside linebacker out of Clemson, because we're not even still sure about Monty Rice. Where did Wanya Morris finally went? Did DeJuan Jones, he's still following DeJuan Jones. I don't know if he has an injury problem, DeJuan Jones, but he's the big tackle out of Ohio State. I would have taken him and moved Nicholas Petit-Frere into guard. And then I'm like, okay, like at least we're doing things for this year. I don't know what's going on with DeJuan Jones. I don't know why he's falling. But I would have liked that more. But to me, it should have been Scott, A.T. Perry, or Michael Wilson. And then where did Michael Wilson finally go? Michael Wilson finally went all the way down to the Cardinals at 94. But I liked Michael Wilson. He performed very well at the Senior Bowl. So we're just taking from Marvin Harrison Jr. and let's have a sneak peek at the NFL draft wide receivers for next year, because that's what we're looking at. We're looking at next year. We are interested in next year. We need to see what's going on next year, because this year is irrelevant apparently. And it's next year when we're finally going to get our... And let's go ahead and look at the free agency class as well. F it! Because it's over. It's over. I mean, maybe we pick up like a Jarvis Landry in free agency. Oh my God, goodness gracious. And then people are going to make a big deal about that. So I have to make content about that and how meaningless and stupid that it is. Oh, I can't wait for that. So yeah, we have Marvin Harrison Jr. We have Xavier Worthy, wide receiver out of Texas, I believe. Troy Franklin. And even he's like only, so right now, let me look at other websites too, not just this website. There's only 3 definitive first round wide receivers that I'm seeing right now for next year. That's kind of crazy. Oh, and Mika Ibuka. I don't know why Mika Ibuka wasn't on this list. Oh, God. I mean, people didn't love Jackson Smith at Jigba. Now you're expecting me to love a Mika Ibuka? That's a little crazy. So I'm not even convinced about next year's wide receiver core. And it's a long year, and we're going to see what they do. I like the quarterbacks more than the wide receivers. Why did we take a quarterback in this draft? That doesn't even make any sense. The quarterbacks have way more potential right now from what I'm seeing then the wide receivers next year. So why are we waiting to take a wide receiver next year, and then why did we take a quarterback this year? It doesn't make sense. Someone make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. And then the free agent wide receivers next year, we have Mike Evans, Odell, Corey Davis. You can get him in trade right now if you want to. Curtis Samuel, fine. Tyler Boyd, pretty good. DJ Chark, again. Devontae Parker, again. Kendrick Bourne. Mecole Hardman again. Jerry Jeudy. Jeudy would be interesting. He's going to demand a lot of money if he has a decent year with Russell Wilson this year. Marvin Jones, Hollywood Brown. I'd like a Hollywood Brown. Calvin Ridley, we'll see how he responds after he couldn't keep his fingers off of a FanDuel. T. Higgins, they're going to re-sign him. Michael Pittman, they're going to re-sign him. And that's about it. Gabe Davis and Darnell Mooney. So, I mean, there are some names here. Some guys that can be our number 2, because God knows we don't have a number 2, and God knows we're not going to have a number 2 this year. There is no one on this roster that is going to solidify themselves as a number 2 wide receiver this season. Hopefully someone as a number 3. Hopefully Kyle Phillips can stay healthy and, his ankles or knees or whatever he broke don't turn into mush. Hopefully. One can only pray. And I will be praying. I rarely go to church on Sundays, but I'll be going this year. I'll be staying for the afternoon service because there's no point in watching the Titans game. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to watch the game on my phone as I pray to God. Yeah, I mean, who do I expect to actually hit the market here? I would expect Jeudy to hit the market. I would expect Mike Evans, but he's getting old. He's going to be like 30, going on 31 next season, 2024 season. So that's not even great. Burks and Evans, it's fine. I wouldn't love it, but it's fine. Curtis Samuel, I'd like Curtis Samuel. I don't know if he's a definitive. He's fine. He's a good number 2. He's a fine number 2. Let me say that. I'd love a T. Higgins. I don't think he's going to go on market. I'd love a Michael Pittman. I don't think he's going to go on market. Hollywood Brown could. We'll see how Hollywood Brown could, and he'd be a good number 2. So there's a couple of names, but even next year, guys, it's going to be a struggle again. Wow. Unbelievable. And this was being mentioned too, whether or not Mike Vrabel hates wide receivers, whether or not he cares about wide receivers, if he thinks he can win without wide receivers. Look, he comes from that New England tree, and I think he's like Belichick in thinking he doesn't have to draft these guys high. They don't have to be big part of this offense. And I mean, look, he can say, and you know what? I do believe he wasn't happy with the A.J. Brown trade, mostly. But I'm having problems with that and believing that when he's the only wide receiver we've taken high under your, and again, maybe John Robinson, it was his fault. But then this is your time. This is your shot. It's time for you and Moran to collaborate. You keep talking about you want speed. We need more speed. We have no one to throw to. Who the hell did we sign or draft that has speed? Even Tyjae Spears doesn't have speed. What the hell are you talking about? You're talking about still running 2 tight end sets. You're a moron in that aspect. So what are we doing? We're spinning our wheels and it's ending and it's over. Just got a super chat. Super chat comes from Lord Kane. What about Levis shows that he's much better than Hooker when we could have waited and had him and then either Hyatt or Tillman? Potential. He has high upside. He has the arm. He has the looks, I guess. And he swooned them. Now, he didn't swoon them enough, or swoon them. Now, he didn't swoon them enough in order for them to draft him at 11. But 33 for whatever reason. Maybe because they knew he'd fall. I wonder why they knew that Will Levis would fall. Interesting. But, yeah, just the upside, his rushing ability, barely. I mean, I think he's faster in a straight line than Hendon Hooker, but Hooker's like more agile. Well, I don't know. I think Levis is probably more athletic. But Hooker uses it more. I mean, he had to in that system. I'd have to, it's close. They're close. But I think Levis is a better athlete, barely. Yeah, I don't know. But my answer to you is because we're not trying to win this season. So that's the end. I don't know if that's what you want to hear. That's the answer to me. But thank you for the super chat, Lord King. Philip Maddox came with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Philip Maddox. Hypothetically, if the Titans have a terrible season and have a top 3 pick, do the Titans still consider drafting a quarterback or trade for draft capital? It depends how Levis plays. He needs to go in and he needs to be awful. And you know what? You know, I also have a problem with this. Amy Adams Strunk. I'm going to have a conversation with this woman if this terrible season happens. Because I don't know how much. I mean, I still think that Rand Carthon, maybe I shouldn't think this. We drafted Will Levis. Knows what he's doing. Like, these aren't bad draft picks. I mean, Levis it's just a bad choice. You just should wait till next year. But I don't know if I don't know what goes on in Miss Amy's head sometimes. I don't know. The John Robinson firing, and I get it now. I mean, that's why we're rebuilding the roster, right? It came at such a weird time, and it's whatever now. It's water under the bridge. But in that scenario, does she have the stones to tell Vrabel and Carthon, look, I know you guys loved Levis. Screw Levis. I mean, does she have this? Because usually that's an ownership thing. The GM took a guy. You have to stick with that guy. But next year, man, and that's why you just should have waited. I don't understand. Well, I mean, I think they're so egotistical. And I actually believe that. And I'm interested to know if Rand is also this egotistical. I assume he is. Yeah, he has to be. So I believe that Vrabel and Rand are so egotistical that they can lead this roster to a competitive team next year while prepping for the future. They're stupid. And we're going to be just as bad as if we would have in the second round sat at 41 or traded up and take Michael Mayer. And next year we would have been just as bad. Maybe hell will be worse because Levis might lose us more games than Tannehill would in theory. But I would have started Malik Willis in this scenario though. So that's what I would have done. I would have tanked this year easily. But Vrabel's so egotistical, he thinks he can win games with this roster that there's no, we're going to compete for the playoffs, we're going to compete for the division. And guys, I mean, seriously, in the AFC, let's just be honest. I want you to just let's look at two teams for me right now. Three even. Let's look at three teams. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the New England Patriots, and the Denver Broncos. I want you to tell me why we're better than any of them. All of them, to me, except for maybe the Steelers will, but the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Steelers, barring injury, are going to miss the playoffs next year. Now, injuries are going to come into the equation, but as of right now, my playoff teams in the AFC are the Bills, the Jets, the Bengals, the Ravens, the Jaguars, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and I'll throw in the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins, if Tua stays healthy, they'll make it. Either going to be the Dolphins or it could be the Steelers. Then you're talking about, so I just named about 8 teams to me. The Browns might, so the Browns are better than us, too. And we'll see how Deshaun Watson plays. Maybe he's terrible. And he's been terrible. But even then, they still won 7 games. So, you're telling me, are you sure we're better than the Broncos? Raiders, they're chaotic. If Garoppolo gets hurt, they could be 3-14. So I buy that. The Colts, the Texans, luckily they don't need quarterbacks, so they aren't even a threat for Caleb Williams or Drake May. They took their quarterbacks in this draft. They made their bed. Let them lie in it. This was not the draft to take the third quarterback taken in the AFC South. In the AFC South, we have the worst prospect in the AFC South. You should have stuck at number 2. Take Michael Mayer, pair him with Chig. Hell, make Mayer and Chig have a nice year. You know, third round, trade up a little bit. You wouldn't have to trade up. Because remember, we only had to take, well, you wouldn't be able to get Mayer if you traded up to get Mayer. But take whoever you want at 41. I don't care. And then at 72, which was our original third round pick, Josh Downs was still available. Cedric Tillman, who's going to be very good, was still available. Jalen Hyatt, who's going to be Will Fuller, still available. And we would have been fine with that. And at least we'd head into next season. Like, who else would be taken at 41 that I would have really liked? Let's actually look at that. Now I can have a definitive stance on this. So at 41, and I don't want to use hindsight on this because honestly, I would have took Cedric Tillman at 41. I know he fell all the way down to 74 or whatever he went, 75. But at 41, look, if you really wanted to take someone else because you just weren't in love with, you know, some of the wide receivers at that point, that's fine. You could have took the center, Joe Tippmann. Now, we wouldn't have loved having to take 2 interior offensive linemen, but you could have took them. You could have took the tight end, Luke Musgrave. You could have took the tight end who ended up going later in Tucker Kraft. You could have took, I think we would have been fine with I would have been fine taking another tackle and then moving Nicholas Petrie to guard if you wanted to do that. You could have took Rashee Rice, who ended up going to the Kansas City Chiefs. And we would have been fine with that because at least they would have come in, they would have ran around like a bunch of idiots, and they would have learned what they were doing this year as we sit and wait for next year's Caleb Williams, for next year's Drake May, for next year's Shedeur Sanders, for next year's Quinn Ewers, for next year's, if J.J. McCarthy develops, for next year's K.J. Jefferson, and we would have been fine with that. We would have been just as bad, okay? Probably. Well, now we're going to be a little worse because at least they would have contributed. So we're going to be worse and we're not going to get the quarterback that we really want. So what the hell? We're going to be worse and we're not even going to get the quarterback that we want. What? It's crazy. It's crazy. And I know we can go into the tanking debate. People don't want to tank and it's always a debate and I agree, whatever. We're going to win 4 to 6 games. It's written in the stars. It's written in the books. I'm calling it. That's what it is. And it's crazy. So, and look, if Will Levis even ends up very good, it's going to take at least 2 years. The first year, I just hope he can break even on touchdowns to interceptions. And that's going to be a W. Okay? Honestly. If he does that, fine. Now, depending who we're picking, is that enough for me to commit to him? No. Will they? Yes. And for it, that's why I would have taken him. Like, if he comes in here, he throws 10 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, or 8 interceptions, and he rushes for 2 more. That's enough for them. They're gonna commit, and they're gonna pass. Hey, Shedeur, Quinn, we got our guy. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. We're where the Jets were after they drafted Sam Darnold. We're where what's another good example of this? We're where the Cardinals were after they took Rosen, but luckily they were bad enough to where they just said, screw it, let's take Kyler anyway. That's where we're at. That's what we're about to go through. That's what we're about to endure. And I just hope that at least and again, I think Levis is going to be just good enough. I don't think he's going to come in here and be terrible. Willis was terrible. I think Levis is going to be just good enough. First year, 8 games, 9 games, 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Next year, 21 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Oh, next year, 24 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Oh, and it's going to be so frustrating as we rebuild this roster, and we have a lot of draft picks to go. But I do not like the moving of this organization. And CLN Titans just made a joke, but I'm not kidding. Maybe we can look forward to Arch Manning. It's on the table. Listen to me very clearly. It's on the table. If you would have told Jets fans in 2018, after taking Sam Darnold at number 3, do you think in 3 years you're going to be taking a quarterback at number 2? They would have said, hell no. So after 3-4 years of Levis, and then finally by year 3, it'd have to be 3 in this case. After 3 years of Levis, and then that third year he finally poops out, it could be Arch Manning time, depending on how the roster looks at that point. Or Nico, whatever his name is. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. How do you pronounce his name? Let me look that up, because I should probably know. I don't look up high school. I'm not a high school football guy. Jesus Christ. I already watched too much Iamaleava. Nico Iamaleava. It could be him. It could be, who are the ESPN? Let's go look at our 2026 football recruits, because this is now relevant. Oh, man. It's so brutal. It's so brutal. Can I go? I better go like, why do they separate dual threat now? That's stupid. Let me go to 24/7 ESPN. 24/7 Sports. We're looking up high school recruits, guys. That's where we're at. I'm just doing this for fun. Football quarterbacks. I'm just wondering, so they had Arch Manning 1. I know that. Was Nico number 2? What I have to look up 2023, actually, I guess. Yeah, so 2023, it was Arch Manning, then it was Nico, I already forgot how to pronounce it, Iamaleava, and then Keon Keeley, and then Dante Moore, and then Caden Proctor. So go ahead and start scouting these guys. 2025. Actually, wait, so 2024, let's look at that too for fun. Who's coming out next year? Dylan Rayala, Jeremy Smith, Williams, Waneri, Ellis Robinson the fourth, and Sammy Brown. Okay, interesting. Good to know. I don't know, guys. Everything's on the table. I'm just going ahead and telling you guys everything is on the table. With this Will Levis selection, everything is on the table now. He's that wild. The range is that crazy. He could flame out his first year, we take a quarterback next year. He could flame out year 2, we take a quarterback that year. He could flame out year 3, he take a quarterback that year. He could, with this second round selection, where at least with Stroud, and he would have had 2 years. I mean, Zach Wilson didn't even get 2 years, and he was drafted second. But CJ Stroud would never be that bad. I mean, the Jets with Zach Wilson, that was a possibility. But wait, it took Zach Wilson 2.5 years. So yeah. I mean, but at least with Stroud, like, would have been 2.5, and maybe we'd struggle, whatever. With Will Levis, at every year, it's a checkpoint. And if he's not reaching the checkpoint, we can move on. That's where we're at. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Welcome to hell. Every single season, until he proves that he's the guy, he's on the clock. And with a top pick, that's not necessarily the choice. Hell, even Mac Jones, who was selected in the middle of the first in 2021, I mean, the Patriots are kind of done with him. If Zappe looks better than him in training camp, Zappe's going to start. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case. But I think Mac Jones might lose the job again. He lost it last year. He didn't lose it. He didn't lose it for long, but he did lose it. So things are moving quickly in this league. And you should have just waited for next year, man. Just should have tanked. You should have just waited for next year. It's a rebuild, and that's what it is, and it's unfortunate, but that's the way we have to view it. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me here. I've enjoyed doing draft coverage. I'll be back If not Saturday night, I'll be back Sunday to recap, our day 3 picks. I won't really care because they're day 3 picks, but I'll tell you my opinion on them. And again, Tyjae Spears I like. I think he's a good running back. I think he'd end up being a starting running back in this league. So that's good. But unfortunately, not quite good enough for me. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.